We wake up, we grab our phones, we scroll through emails, then comes the traffic, the meetings, the deadlines, the bills. And before we even realize it, life starts to feel like a loop. Welcome to the rat race, a never-ending chase for more money, more stuff, more status, and somehow, less happiness. Today, I'm breaking down how the rat race traps millions of people, using the story of two friends, Steve and Angela, who represent two different sides of it. And most importantly, I'll show you how you can escape it. So grab a coffee, because this might just be the most important time you'll spend this week. The rat race doesn't start when you get your first job. It starts the moment you begin believing that your self-worth is tied to how much you make or what you own. Picture this. You've just graduated college. You land your first job. Maybe it's not your dream gig, but hey, it pays decently. You feel proud. You feel like you deserve to treat yourself. So what do? You buy that big screen TV you've always wanted, then maybe a new phone, then maybe a car, and it feels good at first. But that satisfaction fades quickly. So, you start thinking about the next upgrade. A better car, a nicer apartment, a promotion. You tell yourself it's just ambition. But here's the tricky part. The rat race disguises itself as ambition. It's an endless cycle of chasing more, but you never quite feel fulfilled. It's a game where the goalposts are always moving. Wikipedia defines the rat race as an endless, self-defeating, or pointless pursuit. And honestly, that's exactly what it is. It's the constant, exhausting competition to get ahead, at work, in business, or even socially. Think about it. When you finally get that promotion you've been working so hard for, your peer group suddenly changes. You used to compete with your cubicle mates. Now you're competing with the folks in the corner offices. Then you get that corner office. And what happens? You start eyeing the floor above you. And guess what? The cycle just continues, because there's always someone ahead of you. The rat race has no finish line. It's a treadmill, not a track. To understand this better, let me introduce you to two people, Steve and Angela. They met in college. Both were bright, fun-loving, and had a knack for numbers. They'd hang out, play Scrabble, debate politics, and dream about the future. Back then, life was simple. They didn't care who had the best car or the latest phone. Their biggest worry was passing exams and deciding what to order for late-night pizza. Fast forward a few years, they graduate, get decent jobs, and without even realizing it, they slowly step onto the treadmill of the rat race. At first, they still met up once a month to play Scrabble with their old friends. But then, life started happening. One friend got a girlfriend, then had a baby. Another got a big promotion and moved to a new city. And slowly, those Scrabble nights just faded away. That's how the rat race creeps in quietly, without you even noticing. Let's talk about Steve's story. Steve was a family man. He got married, bought a house, and then bought another car when his first kid was born. He worked hard. He got promoted, and when he did, he thought, well, I can't be driving around in this beat-up old Toyota anymore. So, he bought a new fancier car. Then came the mortgage payments, the college fund, the family vacations, the daycare bills, the home upgrades. Every single year, his expenses magically increased to match his income. He used to say, I just need to make a little more, then I'll finally start saving. But that day never came. He was constantly tired, juggling work, bills, and family life, never feeling like he could catch up. He was living the dream, or so it looked from the outside. But on the inside, he was just exhausted. He thought money and success would buy him happiness. Instead, it just bought him more busyness. Angela, on the other hand, took a different path, but ended up in a very similar place. She decided early on that career success was everything. She worked incredibly hard, stayed disciplined, and climbed the corporate ladder with impressive speed. Manager, director, managing director, she checked every single box. But while her bank account grew, her social circle shrank. She had friends? Sure, but she barely had time to see them. Her life was a calendar packed with meetings and business trips. She kept telling herself it was temporary, that once she made it, she'd finally slow down. But 20 years later, she was still running faster than ever before. When Steve finally called to organize a reunion with their old college friends, she was the only one who showed up. That night, as they sat and talked, the same question hit both of them hard. Are we actually happy? For Steve, that night was a wake-up call. He realized he was tired of running, tired of competing, tired of pretending everything was fine. He had the money, the house, the family, but no real joy. Angela, meanwhile, went home that night and did some deep thinking. She had achieved almost everything she thought would make her happy, but she wasn't. So, she decided to do a full audit of her life. Angela asked herself 3 tough questions. First, is there an end in sight to this? The answer was no. Her career was just an endless climb with no summit. Second, is my life defined by competition? Absolutely. And third, am I constantly comparing myself to others? Maybe not always, but enough to feel the constant pressure. She realized she was trapped. The rat race wasn't just about money, it was a mindset. So, she decided to start looking for another way. She asked herself, if I stopped doing this job tomorrow, what else could I possibly do? Her first thought? Nothing. All her skills were corporate spreadsheets, meetings, management, but then she remembered something she used to love doing as a kid, drawing and painting. So, she started doing it again, not to make money, but just to feel alive. Ironically, it meant she was working even more hours, long days at her hyper-sure corporate job, followed by nights spent painting. But something inside her shifted. She started looking forward to her evenings, not just her paycheck. She began exploring how her art could eventually become a source of income. For the first time in years, she was doing something purely for herself. Next, she reevaluated her lifestyle. She realized she didn't need the designer clothes, the 5-star vacations, or the chauffeur. She didn't need to look successful anymore. She just wanted to be content. By cutting back on these luxuries, her cost of living drops significantly. And the lower your expenses are, the less dependent you are on your job. That S, the secret most people miss. Freedom isn't about making more money, it's about needing less. 2 years later, Angela finally made her move. She left her corporate job and started her own design studio and art school. At first it wasn't very profitable, but she didn't mind. She was finally living life on her own terms. Steve, meanwhile, was still in the race, still chasing that one more promotion. He told himself he'd retire someday and finally relax. But that someday just kept moving further and further away. Most people spend their lives running, chasing a version of success that was never really theirs to begin with. But you don't have to. We live in an incredible era where you can build income on your own terms. You can start a business, create content, invest, freelance, or sell products online. The internet has leveled the playing field for everyone. The question is, will you keep running the same old rat race? Or will you build your own path, one that leads to actual freedom? Because at the end of the day, happiness isn't a future goal you chase. It's a daily choice you make. If this video made you think differently about money, success, and freedom, don't forget to hit that like button. And drop a comment below and tell me, what does escaping the rat race look like for you? If you're ready to take control of your financial life, be sure to subscribe. Because every week, we talk about how to build wealth without losing your peace of mind. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.